For this project, I'm going to be using some building blocks, skateboard bearings. I'm using 2, some super glue, some random nut driver bits, a toggle switch, a metal cutting bit, some nuts. We're going to use these as spacers, some tech screws, this 1/2-inch coupling right here that screws on the end, and this 250-watt Razor scooter motor. Also going to need some electrical tape and a couple other small things, but tools that you should have around the shop. We're going to start by building a track for the tool to slide across. And I just used the building blocks. I placed them upside down so I have a smooth surface. You can get some of these blocks with a smooth surface on the other side, and you just cap them over. But this is what I had. I got these at a garage sale. So I glued this down, and I glued each of the individual Legos together so we have a nice solid track. And then I built this piece right here that has a hole. It goes right down on the track, it slides forward and backward, and then built up as high as I needed to match up with the motor. This piece right here, and then glued 2 skateboard bearings in there, which can hold different tools that we can put on the end, and they'll spin freely. That was a pretty simple design right there. Since I have this set upside down and the dots on, like these dots right here, raise this up a little bit, I took some, was it MDF cardboard or something like that, and just glued it to the bottom. It also helps this go along smoothly. It's a little rough going across the track, but I think it'll be fine. And then we can move on to mounting the motor. Now we're going to need to mount the motor along the track here, and I'm going to need a pretty good distance, like maximum distance here, like probably with a tool on the end of it. We'll use this for now. The tool on the end of it. Let's make this at least 8 inches. Scoot all this back here. Make this at least 8 inches. I think I can 8.5. That works pretty good. And then we can put anything this long into the lathe and turn it. I might scoot it back just a little bit more. But one thing you can do to help line this up properly, since I already have these blocks locked down, I can put some more blocks up here. Build it out to the point where I want to mount the motor. Just put those in there. And since these build out relatively straight, you can get a pretty good straight line on the motor. I think that's going to be about where we need to go. But we got the tool over it so we can see what we're doing. I'm going to take this coupling off the end here. That way I can look straight down at it. Get it nice and lined up. I'm going to take this piece off. Bring this guy up here. And see how close we need to be. Actually put the coupler on. And then I have a 1/2-inch thing that connects to the end of it. So now, just need to extend the track a little bit. Notice some of these competitor blocks that are in the bin here are not shaped like the other ones, so I'm going to try to use as many of the name brand ones here to get a nice straight line. There we go. And we can put this in. You see we need to, let me turn the camera over here a little bit. It's still sitting up off the ground, so we're going to need to prop this up. It should be really easy to do. Just going to slide these under and they'll just work like spacers. Put them under each side of this. We have it raised up like that. Let's put this back in here. A little bit more track. Oop. A little more track there, but I don't think I can get it. Let's see. Something like that. There you go. Slides right up. It's nice and straight on the track. It's wobbling around a bit on the end here, but looking down the side of it, that looks like it's pretty square here, though. So I think we're fairly lined up. A couple more times to make sure. Yeah, I think we're good. So with that lined up, we can return that all the way back over there. Pull this off. Drop some of these screws in here and zip this down to the board. And I'm going to cut right here, get this all mounted up, make sure everything's aligned before I put my screws in, and then we'll move on to the next step. So now that I got the motor mounted down, everything lined up straight here, drilled a couple extra holes to add more little tool bits back here. But I hooked the coupler up, put a brand new pencil in here. I needed to find a nice straight dowel, and pencil was the quickest, cheapest thing you can find. And we just have it direct connected. Yeah, look up here. We're going to just direct connect it to the battery. Just make sure everything's spinning right and we have everything set up. There we go. See everything's spinning. Kind of feeling the end of this. It's not jumping around or anything. It's doing everything perfectly. This can still move freely because it's just slid on the end, but I can see the bearing spinning down in there. So that works out pretty good. You see the tape that I have on there wrapped on there. There's the other way is working its way off. I should probably shut that off. But that seems to work out. So I'm going to take this part off, pull the pencil out, and we're going to start doing the electrical. We're going to take the toggle switch. We're just going to run the toggle switch up to the positive of the motor, and then we'll put one of these a lot of various electrical connectors that I have on it. Coming off the other wire there, and then we'll just run a wire from the ground of the motor over to the battery there, and we will be ready to go. Oop, shut my light off. So I'm going to cut, and when I come back, we'll have that all hooked up. So we have the electrical all wired up now. I just put a switch here, and the positive down. Just hit it under here, under these spacers. Ran it up to the back of the switch, ran the switch out. Goes up to a positive lead. And then took the negative and ported that out, and used some heat shrink tubing down here. Put some nice connectors on the ends. We can hook it up to the battery. We have the switch here, and we'll kick it on. There we go. It works pretty good. Everything spins nice and uniform. Going to have to use a C-clamp and clamp it to the table, because if you notice it jumps a bit with the torque when it starts up. Alright, I guess the next thing to do is get some tools out and make something on this lathe. Alright, now that we got the project done, I've put a pencil in here, and I've already scrubbed off some of the paint over here and the paint down here so I can put it in the end of the coupler here. Wrapped a little electrical tape around it so it stays in there pretty good. I don't have that many, well, I don't have any tools for lathe right now, gouges and whatnot, but I do have this sanding block. So we can give this a try and see how well it works. That turned on there. Put the camera on. We're going to use this really coarse side of the sanding block. Kind of hard to do so I can show you guys, so just come from the back here. You can see it's already starting to take everything off right there. Let's finish it up. I've gotten about this far with it. Now I'm going to take my paintbrush here and I'm just going to kind of clean up the surface of the sanding block because it gets clogged up. Alright, kick it back on. Let's see how we got it. Alright, it looks pretty well clean now. Let's go over to the less coarse side of the sanding block here and so we can clean it up a little bit. That's looking pretty good right there. As you can see, it's kind of two different colors because it's split down the half so they can put the lead in the pencil, or the graphite, or whatever they use. Let's see if we can clean up the outside. First, I'm going to run it with the brush really quick to get all the sawdust off. I'm going to clean up the sawdust off of it. I got a tea light from the dollar store. Take that apart, kind of feels soapy. I'm going to kick that on, we'll run the tea light against it. There we go. I'll take our stopping block off the back here and pop that out. We have a really neat pencil. Come on, focus. There we go. You can kind of tell there's two different colors of wood here. But with that tea light, just rubbing a little wax on it, it really made it smooth. Put a really nice finish on it. Well, that's it today for this project. I'm going to go out and try to pick up some tools for the lathe here. And it's something a little better than this sanding block. So we'll be able to do some neater projects on this in the future. If you like my channel, please go ahead and subscribe. If you have any questions or anything like that, please comment down in the comment section. Most of my projects are posted on Instructables.com. If you go there, you can check out all the thrift store hacker builds that I've done there. Pretty detailed walkthroughs on most of them. And if you want to check out my Gofundme page, I'm trying to do a bicycle ride all the way around California, visiting small towns and museums and history and stuff like that, and I'm going to ride it all on the electric trike. But everybody have a good afternoon, stay dry, have fun, and build stuff.